Could there be anything sweeter than creating a mini-sized art tile using IOD decor molds? We love how you can be creative, have fun, and make lovely galleries with these molds and a few other supplies. I start with a 6x8 wood blank art block and then paint it all white. The reason I paint it before applying the molds is so that when the clay shrinks as it dries, you won't see raw wood under that shrinkage area. Grab your IOD Trimmings molds, Laurel and Harper, and a little bit of cornstarch. Dust the mold with cornstarch and then press IOD air dry clay into the mold, removing the excess with your thumbs. Take a credit card or a putty knife to flatten the back and remove any additional clay, using the micro rim as a guide. You can add in more clay where you need to. You'll need 4 pieces of that trim to make a frame around the outside edge of the tile. Once you have all of those trim pieces made, I like to lay them out right on my art block. This is before I glue. I want to create a mitered corner, so I lay the pieces out and then overlap them on the corners. Then I'll take a credit card and I'll slice down through both pieces on a diagonal and then remove the little leftover bits. I love Titebond Quick and Thick glue, but you can use any glue that you happen to have on hand. So glue down those frame pieces. I spread out a thin layer of the glue using a wood tongue depressor. The heart is molded from the IOD Laurel mold. The letters are made from the IOD Harper mold. One tip that I have is to cast your molds and let them dry in the mold. They'll harden up a little bit and it makes them easier to glue and apply. I clean up any excess glue with a damp Q-tip. After the clay has set up, paint another coat of white over the whole piece and let that dry. Now we're going to pretty it up and make it look old with some additional techniques. Paint the heart with your favorite red paint. Then use a gilding wax over the framed part of the tile. Brush it on sparingly so that some of the white paint is still visible. You can use whatever pretty shiny wax or paint that you happen to have on hand, and then let it dry. Did you happen to notice that my letters are backwards? Well, unless you don't mind having a hug before your kiss, I'll show you how I fix that a little bit later. You came by the other day, dropped off a key but wouldn't stay. We couldn't even start a fight. I know it's only... To age my tile, I like to glaze it with an antiquing glaze. I use Debis DIY Dark and Decrepit, but you can use whatever antiquing glaze or wax you prefer. I want the glaze to be thin, so I apply it with a slightly wet brush. I want to be sure to get it into all of the cracks and crevices and details. Then I wipe away the excess glaze with a damp paper towel. The last step is to dry brush just a very little bit of white paint here and there to bring back a bit of contrast. Then wipe that back with a damp paper towel. Now, about those backwards letters. I got my X and my O mixed up. I happened to be able to scrape them off because my glue hadn't set yet. And then I just re-glued them back in the right positions. I applied a little touch-up with my antiquing glaze. Now no one will ever notice the difference. See? There are no mistakes when we're crafting. We can fix anything. These little 6x8 art pieces are such fun to make. Create your own gallery set or share the love and give them away as gifts. All of the supplies that I used are available at L&J Goods, our brick and mortar shop in Medina, New York, or online at lnjgoods.com.